Hello everyone, I'm Cody Orm, Associate Editor here at CG Magazine, and I'm joined here with our Editor-in-Chief, Brendan Fry.
Hey, hey, hey.
And we are happy to show you Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild running on the Nintendo Switch. Now, I got to play this at E3, and it was the Wii U version.
Yep.
You'll notice there are some differences. I think that this runs better on the Switch.
It does look a little crisper, too. The texture's a little bit sharper.
Yeah, at least it runs better when it isn't docked. Now, I noticed there were some issues. You might see them. I'm not sure if our capture card picked them up, but there were some points in time where the game kind of started to chug.
I didn't notice that as much as you did, but I did see it from time to time in certain areas, especially when you took it out and put it back into the dock. I noticed that chugging. That could be the system adapting to the new resolution. It could be numerous things, but because we only got limited time with it at the event, it's hard to say exactly what's causing it. We really need to kind of sit with it in a test lab and kind of actually kind of like in, out, in, out. Okay, that's where it's coming from, but it's hard to say.
That's fair. Now, I want to apologize to anyone right off the bat if there are some kind of control issues. Partway through this gameplay, I decided to take out the Switch controllers, the Joy-Con, to kind of test to see how comfortable they are to use without being in that dog-looking holder.
Yeah.
So there will be some points where I have a bit of issues doing simple tasks, I want to say, and that's just mostly because I was getting used to a different size controller in my hand.
Yeah.
With that being said, this is one of the nicest controlling Zelda games I've played in a really long time.
I do say it is one of the sharpest looking as well. It has it kind of meshes the art style of some of the other Zeldas where you have that kind of cel-shaded look, but it has also a kind of a realism to it that you don't really see in other Zeldas.
There is a bit of a discussion in the Zelda fan community of are the visuals important in the Zelda game, and you have some people who believe that it should be more realistic.
The Dark Link kind of thing.
Yeah, like Twilight Princess, and then you have other people who really liked the Wind Waker style.
Yeah.
Now Nintendo tried to kind of hit that middle ground.
It looks good, to be honest.
Yeah, this is kind of an improvement on the art style they took for Skyward Sword. And I liked Skyward Sword's art direction. It was very minimalistic and it highlighted.
Well, to be fair, I think it was trying to do the best it could for that system.
Exactly. That was gonna be my next part. Is as a showcase of what the Wii could do. That's fine, and I think that maybe this game too is. It will be similar, Breath of the Wild, showing off. It's not, I don't want to say it's limited hardware, but it's definitely not running on a PS4.
Yeah, I think Zelda on a PS4 could do a lot more visually, but with limitations come innovation, and I think Nintendo's innovating in a way that lets it look good without pushing the system to its absolute limits.
Yeah, exactly. Now, we are going to show off some weapons that that maybe you haven't seen. I found an area that even the person that was standing with us hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
So first thing you'll notice here is the stamina bar is back. So that was shown in Skyward Sword originally. It was a big deal because usually to traverse Hyrule, if you didn't have a horse, you'd have to do the link roll throughout the whole area to try to go faster. This is, you get a stamina bar, and it works. It wears out. You'll notice a little bit later on, it wears down, climbing and even in water. So you have to time everything you do properly, and I'm sure later in the game that will come in. That will come into play. So Brennan, I gotta ask you: Have you ever played Wind Waker?
Yes, I have.
You have?
I've played Wind Waker.
Okay, so we're gonna come up to something here pretty soon, and I want to ask you if this character looks familiar.
Okay, sure.
But so this is me just trying out the sprint, see how it feels and everything.
Yeah,
like that.
so how was the stamina system of the game? I know they were touting it as a kind of a big thing. Did you find it a detriment, or did you kind of find it added a little extra kind of challenge in what you're doing?
I loved when they added it. So here I am just like pushing a rock.
Yeah.
I kind of messed up and crouched by accident. But I liked when they added it in Skyward Sword.
Okay.
I thought that there were certain levels that, temples, that that really showed off why it can be a good idea.
Right.
Spacing, like quicksand, for instance, like platforms in between quicksand, it adds a bit of intensity.
I can see that. It also restricts you from just running around like a crazy person.
Yeah, exactly. So I gotta ask you, does that man we're talking to look familiar at all?
Maybe a little. Can't place it though.
Okay, so for me, when I first saw him, I thought he looked like he was the King of Hyrule from Wind Waker.
Kind of a little bit, maybe.
The boatman.
But he still has a bit more realism to him.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
So it's hard to compare the two art styles because one is a very, very stylized art style, and this one is realistic with kind of a cel-shaded palette.
Exactly. So that's the Temple of Time over there that they just showed.
Just chilling out,
yeah,
keeping it real
it's
over there.
A dilapidated temple.
I feel they need to fix that up.
Yeah, definitely put that Hyrule money towards some renovations.
So does this feel like it's taking Zelda into the modern age of RPGs where you have voice acting, you have actual visual fidelity, and you're getting a lot of that stuff that you're not really seeing in other platforms?
I'm still not 100% on the voice acting.
Okay.
That's going to take a little while for me.
Yeah.
So before we go any further, this is the first weapon I picked up, which is an axe.
All right.
So I'm gonna show it off a little bit. I think. No. Okay. Never mind. I got my playthroughs mixed up. So here's my stamina bar, and as you can see, as I'm swimming, that's slowly getting taken.
And
away.
if it goes down all the way, you drown, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So you can see where that can come into play.
Oh, very much so.
But to answer your question, yeah, I think this is. It's almost like The Witcher Hyrule Edition.
Okay.
I really like that though. The whole concept of eating hearts, for instance, it's gone. You cook, which we'll show off later as well. This is the second weapon I found. So I found a rusty broadsword.
Just chilling out.
Yeah. No, it's kind of interesting. Its placement there.
Well, it's got rusty from the water. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, it's not that. If you look, it's sitting in a rock, right beside the Temple of Time.
I don't remember.
It could be the Master Sword.
Probably is. Yeah.
Now I don't know because the Master Sword is kind of a big deal, and it shouldn't be just rusted like that. But who knows? It seems like this takes place. If I was to take a shot in the dark of where this sits in the timeline, I would say this would be the most recent.
Yeah, I could see that. It is a world that's been a little bit reclaimed.
Yeah, exactly. Hyrule's not flooded anymore. It's like. Water seems to be
Head for the point marked on the map in your Sheikah slate.
In its normal place now. So that thing there, I just kind of pulled up. That was there's a marking system now on your map, so you can kind of follow things. I was supposed to go towards a pillar almost to mark a spot on the territory, so I have a place to go to if I die and all that kind of stuff. I decided not to do that because that's every playthrough I've seen. So the first thing I'm going to show you. Here is an environment change, which Legend of Zelda's done that before, where there's you need different colored tunics to survive. And I thought this was kind of interesting because we've never gotten. Here I am. I'm picking up some spicy peppers for later, so I can make some food. But
yeah, I remember that spicy food. We'll see that in a bit later in the preview.
So here I am in an ice area, and as you can see. There's a little temperature gauge in the corner beside the map, right above. There's a sound wave.
Yep.
That is the amount of noise I'm making while I'm running.
I think we should talk about that sound wave thing because that is interesting.
We will. I think there's a part where I slow down a bit.
Okay.
But here, the temperature does come into play. It does start to affect you. You can see even Link's skin looks like it's burning.
Yeah.
And also the other thing too, that animal that just flew away, I think is only seen in that area. So there's unique wildlife as well.
I think it's kind of interesting that you have a snow-covered plains right next to a bright sunny area.
Well, that archway is what separates the temperatures.
Yeah, of course, that makes perfect sense. Yeah.
But to talk about the sound sound waves. So on the corner there, beside underneath the temperature gauge, there's obviously sound. That is used for stealth. I didn't really show it off too much, but as you can see, while I'm
to do it,
exactly while I'm running, you can see that going off. So I'm making a lot of noise. I could draw a lot of attention myself. It's something to keep in mind. But as we go,
I do like this. I have to point out the wildlife and the insects, this kind of butterflies and such flying around. It's the attention to detail that does make this game seem more real, seem more alive, especially compared to past Zelda games where you couldn't really do that because you didn't have the technology to do that.
You could see it a little bit. I think Twilight Princess was probably my favorite in that regard.
I could see it had it a bit.
Yeah, with the bugs and things like that. That probably had my favorite.
I think Skyward Sword had a little bit of things too as well.
Yeah, Skyward Sword was very good for that as well. And because each area was so unique and not connected, it was, each little thing meant something. So here we are. I picked up a pot lid that I can use as a shield. Now, at the end, I'm going to show you how I can slide on the shield. It's not very good. I sucked at it. But it is something you can do, and it's something to keep in mind. But it also does damage your shield a little bit.
That makes sense. Sliding out on the ground, I can see wearing it out, especially for a wooden shield.
Yeah. Now, it's something interesting, because when you play Legend of Zelda, you never really think about your weapon management.
Yeah.
So the closest you get to that is with your... I don't even like managing arrows, or if you have a weaker shield. So here I'm using the tablet to kind of like scope out my area.
And I must point out that he's kind of just using a weird Zelda version of the Switch.
The Switch, yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Or the Wii U, if you feel like it's kind of in between the two.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm trying it again because I was just taught. He told me how to use it properly. So gross movements are used with the joystick, and your smaller details are done with motion control.
Okay.
It's kind of like what they tried to do on the Wii U, except it's way easier. So I decided, screw it, I'm going to run it head first, Leroy Jenkins this, and we'll see what happens. So
using the rusty sword.
Exactly. So we've got some moblins here, which is Zelda's steeple. It's
and they turn into mutton? Like meat legs?
Oh, yes.
No, that's the club. That's the club.
They drop clubs, yes. So it's kind of weird to come into that area. So my broadsword showed some damage, so I took out my axe. It's kind of... I don't know how I feel about going into these random like little tribes of moblins and just killing them, but...
This is a more violent Link. He's from a harder time.
I mean, it's a more violent Hyrule. I don't think there were ever just tribes of moblins set up everywhere. So I'm getting hit with these arrows.
But you now got a bow, so you can use
I've got a bow. Also, I could take out my shield. Something interesting, I think earlier I pulled out my shield and one of the arrows hit him. And anyway, so here's something really cool. So I'm trying to shoot him, but I shot him in the head. Now, a headshot actually counts more, which isn't something that happens in Legend of Zelda very often. But what was interesting was you have to take into account that, you know, there's a little bit of wind. And I have to shoot a little bit higher because I'm a little bit further away. Now, earlier there, I took a shot to an arrow to my shield, and I could actually use that arrow later.
That's a neat touch.
I do like that.
It feels kind of a mix, as you were saying earlier, it feels kind of like a mix of Zelda with a bit of Skyrim in there.
Exactly. It seems like a lot of people always wanted to call Legend of Zelda an RPG.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. So now they finally can. Yeah, exactly. But now they finally can. So here I'm discovering fire. I threw my stick into the fire because I am an idiot and forgot the controls. And here we go. So I'm going to run up, and I find out here that I start to run, and he touches the ground with it. So I cannot run with fire, which is probably to stay safe.
Yeah, I mean, don't teach kids to, run with fire. That seems like a good lesson to learn. Oh,
and here's something kind of cool. Now, the person in the demo didn't know that this place existed, so I was like, can I see if I can catch on fire? You can. So
that's neat. That's a neat touch.
Yeah. Now, I unknowingly pissed off some bees.
As you would.
Yep, and they attacked me and then ran. But, yeah, so that's the... Hyrule has had little hidden areas.
Yeah.
Always. But this seems to be kind of hearkening back to the original title. I think it was Jordan who said that, actually, that It's kind of being faithful to the original material,
Yeah.
more so than other games.
This is where you find bomb arrows.
Yeah, so I found some bomb arrows, which I didn't know existed in the game.
Now
so
you
I
do.
blew some stuff up. I thought that was kind of cool. And I decided, you know what? I don't need fire to light this pot. I'm going to use a bomb arrow.
Yeah, that makes
because
sense.
that is the more economic solution, obviously.
Now, I'm going to ask something that I'm sure everyone in the audience is wondering. If they're not, they should be. Do you feel this system or the Switch offers something uniquely, or rather unique, that only this version of Zelda can only be done on?
Well, the unique thing is you can take it with you.
Other than that?
Are you comparing it to like what you can do on
Let's say
the
just,
Wii U?
Or just Skyrim. Let's say if Nintendo's bent on building a game for this platform and they're sacrificing a little bit of visuals to do so,
yes.
what is this system allowing them to do that they could never do on a PS4 or Xbox One?
Ooh, that is a good question.
Or is it just a straight-up action game that they've just built and is only available on this platform?
Well, there is that. That is definitely a big option in there. I think the Switch offers, at least with the motion control aspect too. I didn't notice much HD rumble in there, but I think that can be something going forward that can be used. But I think the biggest thing is just being able to take it with you. That
and it's the only Nintendo console that's available, so you can just pick one.
Exactly. So that was the spicy fish I made. I used the peppers I picked up in the bass
Lots
I
of
picked
peppers
up earlier, and it was 6 health. So that was kind of cool.
Do you even have 6 health right now?
No, I have 3 hearts, and also I'm going to kill that bird with a bomb arrow. I just wanted to see what would happen, and then you can see his bird flesh falling from the sky. I don't know. I'm excited to really sink my teeth in, because the first time I played it, it was a guided tour at E3.
Yeah.
I didn't get to do that much. This time I had a little more time to kind of do what I want.
It is limited. You can only do so much in a Zelda game in 20 minutes.
Well, yeah, exactly. Zelda is a series where you need to sit down and sink your teeth into it. And the other thing, too, that I heard, this is only a fraction of the map.
Yeah.
This is like a closed-off area. Oh, I'll show you guys this stuff, too. So this is each weapon has its own special charge attack. So this is the spear. I picked up a spear. So that's the charge attack for the spear. And use the pitchfork. It's very similar.
Yeah, I think it's almost the exact thing, except the item has changed.
Yeah. And then there's a jump attack,
As it should be.
which is really cool. Link has never been able to jump before.
I do like the fact that the temperature gauge, now that you're next to the fire, is showing closer to the red area than it is the cold area.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
I think it goes down to regular temperatures when you get a step away from the fire.
Yeah, exactly. So here, as I'm going to try to do the board sliding, but while I'm trying to do that, because I fail at it a couple times, I was told that, yeah, this is a demo area-ish, so it's closed off. But even if you look into the horizon, you can go past like Death Mountain and things like that. So that's
Not in the demo, but in
not in the demo, but
real
in
game.
the actual game. So it's one of those things where I don't know how big it is.
Right.
And that's kind of exciting. Now, the one thing I would worry about, here I am, I slid a bit. The one thing I would worry about is Twilight Princess tried to do that, and it was big, but it was empty. So I want to know how they can combat that. But at the same time, maybe it's just by adding these little areas that you can discover and those little moblin camps you can ambush. It's exciting. But here I am, I found a hill. I'm gonna slide down this hill. And you can tell I'm having some issues because I'm not used to the new controller yet, the Joy-Con, which I found out is both plural and singular. They're
That's
not
weird.
Joy-Cons. It's like fish.
2 Joy-Con, 1 Joy-Con.
Yeah,
Huh.
I don't like that.
It's a little weird.
But so here I am going to try it again, and then I think I damaged my shield, and then I was told to leave. Yep, so my shield was damaged. And with that, I think we showed everything.
Yeah, that's it.
So thanks for watching, everyone.
Thank you.
For more content like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Check us out on Twitter at cgmagonline.com. At cgmagonline. Check us out at cgmagonline.com. And we'll see you later.